Ted, a few years ago, there was some words between you and Paul McCartney on veganism. Is that correct?
Let me summarize it like this. Paul McCartney is a gung-ho vegan. My friend Tommy Shaw, my blood brother Tommy Shaw, spent much of his adult life as a strict vegan. My genuine soulmate, Motor City blood brother musician Michael Lutz is a
Right.
gung-ho 100% vegan. Those choice, I think Tommy's choice because he saw some pigs slaughtered one time and he didn't want to have anything to do with that. But Paul McCartney is hardcore, and I would call
Yeah, that might do it.
an unfortunate vegan in that he did an interview in Detroit one time, and of course, Detroit influenced the Beatles, and Motown influenced everybody. And Detroit is notorious for having killer, soulful musicians. And the interviewer asked Paul McCartney, what does he think about being in Detroit, performing with his band Wings as the epicenter of such musical influence. And he went on and on about the Four Tops and the Temptations, little Stevie Wonder, and all things Motown. And they asked him about, I think what I like about you, the Romantics. And had a big song at the time. They asked about it. Oh, that's a great song. It's almost Beatles-like in many ways. And the Beatles kind of morphed into the American Chuck Berry, Bo Diddley, Little Richard, Detroit energy level. And so the interviewer says, well, our number one guitar player in Detroit is Ted Nugent. What do you think of Ted Nugent? He went on just an unfortunate, hateful, nasty rant attacking me. I'm not a real musician. Ted Nugent's not a real musician. He's a coward because he murders innocent animals. And he's never had a good musical idea. I can't stand the guy. I can't believe anybody would listen to his music. Really, really unfortunate. And so, being a smartass like I am, I might be the czar of smartass when appropriate, when need be. The disc jockey couldn't wait to get me on to retaliate. So he called me. He goes, "Did you hear what Paul McCartney said?" Everybody's been telling me about it. Yeah, I heard exactly. He said, "Would you like to respond?" I go, "I'm always ready for a response. I like to talk about music, good, bad, or ugly. I'd love to respond." So they said, "Well, after hearing Paul's attack on you, what would you have to say to Paul McCartney?" And I said, "Only one thing. Thank you. Thank you for enriching the world with your incredible art. Thank you for pursuing your God's gift of songwriting and musicality that plays such a role in my happiness and in everybody I know's happiness. There's not a life that's existed since 1962 that hasn't been positively touched by all things McCartney, Lennon music. So, Paul, thank you very much for your great music."
That's the way to shut him down.
Well, that kind of grenaded the paradigm of the vegan being the sweetheart, peace and loving guy, and the Wackmaster being a vicious, attacker of, animals and people. Diet has no indicating value whatsoever to the spirit of man. Conduct and the other things I mentioned. How is a person reliable? You can be a vegan and still be my blood brother. You are my blood brother. Tommy Shaw, when he was a vegan, was my blood brother. Michael Lutz is my blood brother. I don't care what you eat as long as you do it with respect to the origins of that food. And I must finalize it as I did on Joe Rogan, which got one of the biggest response of all the interviews and podcasts I've done, is that as more and more people turn to a more plant-based diet, and there's nothing wrong with that. I can't find anything wrong with it. I think go nuts. The production of beef and poultry and pork and veal and lamb continues to increase. So all the vegans on the planet have not reduced the death of any animals. The mass slaughter, which should be applauded and respected, is the source of protein and nutrition that allows our fellow man to live. I want to support the system by which my fellow man lives. Now, can there be improvements in the mass slaughter of creatures for human consumption? You think? There could be all kinds of improvements for the benefit of a quality of life, from the abuse of substances and tobacco and drugs and alcohol and how we abuse each other and engineered recidivism by a failed court system. But quality of life is not going to be determined by anybody's diet.